They don't even ask those kind of.
You understand? But the thing is, you join a community, you learn real stuff, you build real stuff, and over time you are ready. By the time you graduate, you are ready to be hired. So the company listening out there, the company that will hear this, it's really worth it to invest in communities, because what I see over time is that a company comes up, they have these, KPI to fill or something they want to launch. They go hard on community, and once they launch it, they slow down or they just don't sponsor anymore.
Yeah.
A good example is GitHub. I knew GitHub as the most proponent for communities. They didn't care if you are doing developer, they could give you maybe a few dollars, a few t-shirts to buy pizza and drinks, and also to like give other developers who are in there. Hackathon, they participated, they sent out engineers all the way from San Francisco to Nairobi or whatever to come and share that knowledge. Yeah. And guess what? That actually impacted the whole ecosystem as it is.
Yeah.
Right now, after our big boy, Microsoft, no offense, I'll say the way it is. After they joined Microsoft, all that changed. They started doing things to do with diversity, and I'm like, now we have to put diversity in the picture to even you apply as for diversity. Yeah. Microsoft, if you are listening, please. That's not the way you build a pipeline. Right now, I know they're hiring. They've been hiring in Africa, especially in Nairobi.
Yeah,
you need to change that culture. You need to be intentional with developers, and they don't have to work for you, right? Yeah. So that's the way I think about this. That said, you joined Follow, and then how long?
When I met you, like Follow wasn't like a community where you come in and come in again.
Yeah.
But that's where you get to meet people, you get to understand like people's stories.
Yeah.
You get inspired.
Yeah.
And you start to be active like online, like joining community on Twitter, following people who are meant to guide you in developer journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I started, I guess, in 2018.
Yeah.
I started to be like somehow serious into community stuff. Started to look into global community, not just Rwanda community.
Yeah.
And I think that's shaped my journey.
Yeah.
Because back then, that's when I joined Google Developer Student Club.
Yeah.
I was at my school. No one knew about it. I had no clue about it as well, but I was online. I was searching some stuff, and I found it like someone tweeted it, and I was like, okay, let me apply.
Yeah.
So after applying, I got accepted. I applied to Ghana, and I'm like, this is
great.
This is great. I get to meet Nigerian people. Nigerian.
Yeah.
I like
Nigerian energy.
Yeah, energy. I like their energy.
Yeah.
They have like their.
What is that energy like, by the way? People when they hear you, maybe out there saying Nigeria. What is that?
Like Nigerian, there is a way like whenever you are around Nigerian, you can't be bored.
Yes. Yeah.
Keep talking. Their mind is always working.
Yeah.
You can see it. But for Rwandans, most of the time they are quiet.
They are reserved people.
Yeah.
Thinking solving serious problems with their mind. Anyway, but I also understand that, you had a conversation earlier with Bwana Kweli. And that's also the 1994 genocide played a key role on how even Rwandans perceive things. And it's called trauma. You guys are like second generation after that.
Yeah.
Or the first. Were you born then? Most probably not.
No.
Yeah, so you guys actually, you have a bigger role to play, and you can see what His Excellency Paul Kagame is trying to do. And I'm saying this with all the love, and because I know you guys are leaders in your space, that don't take these things for granted. You need peace. I'm not saying this because, peace is the only solution, but I'm saying you need peace for you to thrive as a country. You need to carry that momentum. And when I see you in 2018, I see you right now as a back-end engineer, I'm like, man, this is it. So that's it. I'm not good at advising people, so I won't go on with that. Yeah, I understand that's why you guys are reserved, and it's understandable. And it's not a bad thing anyway. That's why we have people who are talkative, people who are hardworking, people who are just silent, people who are thinking about solution. Because even when you come to Kenya, by the way, we are not. And actually, I would say there was a time that there was this analogy of like, Nigerians are doing this, they are big in this, because if they do something small, they will be so loud. And I'll be going to Nigeria maybe and get a few engineers to talk to or maybe have a conversation, and I'll understand even more. Maybe right now I'm coming from ignorance. And encourage developers and engineers to be more intentional. So if you want to build a fintech, sit down and write code. Talking about it won't write any code. Shouting about it won't solve any problem. But if you sit down and write code, that is what will speak on your behalf. Guess what? 10 years down the line, it's working. Mm-hmm. As you know, it's something that most people are appreciating. You don't need to make a lot of noise around it. Mm-hmm. The only thing maybe you need to is sit down and record that story. How was that journey? Like you, Chief, I want to know. We meet in 2018. You now understand there is Ruby framework, Ruby on Rails. There is Ruby on the back end. There is, Agile. There is open source. How do you perceive that? There is entrepreneurship. I think even we shared about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
How did you process all that?
Like, the good thing about community is like, it's not like school. School, they taught you like for you to do exam, like it's more like you have to understand things or just, like you have to know things.
Yes.
That they're teaching you about. But the community is like, they are showing you around, they are showing you ways, they are showing you anything maybe you need to become a good developer or anything you want to become. And it's up to you to pick out like what you want to do, who you want to follow, who's your role model, which path are you going to take.
Yeah.
So that's the good thing about community. I guess like even more communities, like all the universities may take the same approach.
Yeah.
Not just teaching a person things they don't even want to learn.
Yeah.
But showing them like, you can do this, you can even do this and this and this. And right afterward, people are good at figuring out stuff by their own.
Yeah.
So if you figure out stuff by your own, like I'm going to learn maybe JavaScript, and you start learning it right away. If you learn it by yourself, you're not going to be competing with those people who learned it. Like you have to learn it, you have to do this assignment. So it's like community. It's something, driving the African tech ecosystem, because we don't have like MIT or some other bigger institution to teach again to the core level. So this community, I think, is making more impact other than any other institution or educational institution around Africa can do. Yeah. Because if I say it, like for me, I have led some communities like Developer Student Club. Yeah. I saw people from zero to like software engineer somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you come, you're asking me, why should I write code?
Yeah.
I haven't even read the first line of code,
Yeah.
And in 2 years, I can see you like you're at Irembo, you are, like at Tandera, you are doing some great jobs. And like there isn't even a guy I mentored back at Tandera. The guy is working remote. That's make me like proud. If like I can see someone who guided himself through community, and he can become like like a bigger person you can think of. It's even like like it's for me it's like fulfilling for me. Yeah. If I reflect on it, I'm like, maybe that's what I meant to be doing. Like while I still exist. See people like making impact. And, and you're part of it, and you're like, okay, maybe every person needs to be a key to someone to get to somewhere. Yeah. Like you need to be that kind of chain to, like helping each other and work together actually. Yeah. As African, as the whole world. If I say African, maybe I exclude other people, but like as like the whole like human being.
Yes.
It's meant to be connected somehow, and like to be a chain of help and help and help.
Yeah. So you're saying community, what they do is bridge some of the gaps that exist in figuring out solutions, because programming is not supposed to be hard. You need to understand the underlying concept, but also apply them. And to some extent, community helps in both, as opposed to school. Because school, you just have one lecturer who will come and share slides, or maybe teach you 2 or 3 way of solving solutions, and that's it. And even the reason why people even don't learn more, according to my experience, through lecture, is that you find most people are more, or most schools are more in approach of passing exam as opposed to understanding the underlying concept, which is solving problems. And the more we start approaching it in a way that, yes, of course, you need to be tested on what you have learned and get certified, you need also to solve problems, real life problems. And even teaching itself can be in that approach. How are we solving problems, right? So in actual sense, that's how I see it. But I cannot insist enough on what you're saying, that communities play a key role in that. Chief.
Yep.
You don't know anything about community.
How do you know?
Oh, you had a community of swimmers.
Actually, you know what's funny?
I'm just kidding.
In uni,
Yes.
me and my friends
Yes.
started a community, and we're just teaching software engineering.
Yeah.
No, we're teaching just basics of web development, and some of us.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, one of our community members,
Yeah.
went on to be in the first cohort
Yes.
of Mandela.
Yes.
Kigali.
Yes.
And right now he's working remotely. And the first time he wrote a single line of code, I was on top. I was like I was looking at what he was doing.
Yeah.
It was a form of like building that community around you, and then just motivating each other.
Yeah.
And that's how we've been able to
learn.
learn.
And for you, by the way, it's very important, because your background is not in computing or software engineering. So you finish your did you start learning this while in school or after?
Immediately as soon as I started my degree.
First year.
So
you joined university and then you joined Andela, or how did it work?
I started Code Academy. I started using Code Academy.
Oh, Code Academy online. Who paid for you?
No, it was free. By then,
it was free?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like they had some free courses. And I started there. And then we used to like bootleg some courses, some Udemy courses.
Chiefs, if you hear bootlegging here, it means piracy. Let's call it, the days.
Call it spade. Yeah, so that's how we used to bootleg, but these days I don't.
Yeah.
Udemy has sort of like, these days I pay.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, most of it I had like I had like big files in my hard drive of like different courses and some of the different things I did.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that was effective, there's this one book I went through.
Hard copy or soft copy?
It was a soft copy, but I printed it out.
You remember the name of the book?
Let me check. It's a Python book. It's I'll look it up and I'll say
Python for Dummies.
Yeah, something like, no, it's not Python for Dummies. It's like 100 projects. Maybe it's like 100 Python projects.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
So
they were like projects. Okay. They were like simple projects. So each page sort of like had projects. Each chapter had like projects.
Yeah. And you could build them step by step and see how it code come together.
And you basically, from the first chapter, it interacts the basics, and you just understand, even get comfortable with the command line.
Yeah.
Build command line apps, then go on and start.
And this is in first year.
Yeah, this is in first
And
year.
you're doing business.
And I'm doing business.
So was it like strategic? I choose a course that I can pass well asleep, and also do these other
No,
things.
I just knew that I will do tech. But then I just got an opportunity to do like a business.
But who made that call? Like you should.
I
do
made that
business.
call because before I went to uni, I had done a few projects as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I had done like 2 years actually as an entrepreneur.
And that was in high school.
Actually, after high school.
So you stayed for 2 years at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Like 2 years, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And during then, I had a few projects. I had an event. I started a design agency.
Chief.
Yeah,
After this, you are going for
done
drinks,
things, man. We've done. I started the design agency, and what happened is, and then through those, I learned a lot because I was working with people who are well in their careers, right?
They used to give you gig or you employed
No,
them?
I used to. I think I presented myself a bit more mature. And then it felt like they were my peers, and we started off well. And they used to just have like they just bring me on as a little brother. But I used to really work hard. Just had like that strong work ethic.
Yeah.
So I basically understood, and I really am thankful for that experience because it just kind of gave me a certain purpose.
Yeah.
When you're looking at people well in their careers, you just get inspired about some of what they
Like
do.
I wouldn't be that.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and one of my good friends, even up to now, very good at design. The best I think I've seen.
Can we talk to him before I leave?
Yeah, I mean, I can put you in contact. Very good. The best.
Would like
we've had.
because I think also design plays a key role in software engineering, right? Because writing code alone doesn't present something that humans can consume, right?
And
you also backend or
full stack.
Okay.
Full stack.
Okay.
So I looked at what he was doing and how excellent he was at what he was doing, and I was like, I can't just be excellent at making PowerPoints. Right?
You are good at making PowerPoints and presenting those ideas.
Yes, I can't just be excellent about doing PowerPoints and talking. I can talk. I can
You can present. Yeah, you are a businessman, so
So I felt like software engineering was a tangible skill.
Yeah.
That I felt like I could do.
Yeah.
Because even in high school, I got introduced to it because I did a computer science in my A level.
Yes.
So I felt like I knew that I could do it.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to still understand business and the inner workings of business.
Yeah.
So, and generally, that's my whole career. That's what I want to dedicate my career. It's as much as I could be the best software engineer, but I also want to be able to bridge business and software engineering.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I am here now.
So, did you graduate with your business?
Yes.
Yeah, but while doing coding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think business helped you understand how to package solutions to be palatable to the users?
Most definitely.
Okay.
You see, and that's one thing I realized about your typical software engineer.
Yes.
Your typical software engineer is an engineer.
Yes.
That's it. He's an engineer.
What does that mean?
That means that they see a task, they execute it, end of story. Now,
is it a task or solution or problem? They provide a solution.
Listen, it's a problem. You have like a list of tickets to work on. You have a list of tickets to work on.
Yes.
Tickets.
Yeah, tickets.
Jira tickets.
Jira tickets.
Oh my
goodness. You'll have a list of tickets to work on.
Yeah.
You complete them.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yes.
And that's the end of it as a software engineer. But like when you're talking about solutions, when you're building a solution, there's so much you have to consider. And obviously you have to consider the people you're doing it.
Who will be using
it? What kind of user are we talking about? Where is the technology now? Are there any technologies that look like what you want to do? Are there technologies that could replace what you want to do? Are there technologies that they do not necessarily have to be the same, but they might have the same function essentially. And it could, let's say, run the risk of having your solution become irrelevant before it's even practical. So there's a certain level of practicality that business shows you. Design thinking, thinking about like the person you're creating it for. And I think that's just something that that's on my side, that's going to continue grow, and that's how I plan to position myself. Mainly because as much as I've done business, I can also go on the other side and sit down and write code and do those tickets. But there's an underlying understanding of why is this feature, why is this important, and there's that added level of understanding. I feel like it gives you, but that's my opinion. I feel it gives you an edge.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense because at the end of the day, after you build the product, you have to present it in one way or the other to people who will use it, or people who will investigate, or even people who will test it even before it's fully fledged. So that makes a lot of sense. So Salvi, for you, it was more like community. Are you still doing community even after getting a job? And what Chief is saying is that also, as much as you're not maybe typical community like you did, he was also inspired by, without knowing by the guys who are peers and he could be challenged by them. Do you feel also being in a community and finding someone who can do something, it gives you some energy to also try it and know that it's doable? And you have confidence, if I'm stuck, I can reach out to so-and-so and ask if this is the right way to do it.
Yeah, like for me, back in Ghana, I met a guy, it's Robert Sean, talking about machine learning. And I was like, this machine learning things, you know, like was pretty much advanced for me, you know, like some people can talk that like the way machine can recognize Kinyarwanda. I was like, that's impossible. So I went on and community again, and there is this Facebook developer cycles happening, and they're offering some scholarship. You know, the city scholarship for deep learning. There was a challenge. I did it and I passed, and they gave me a scholarship, and I did deep learning junior nano degree from there.
So you also took nano degree? Oh, okay.
I have like 5 nano degrees now.
Chief, which one and which one?
Deep learning, algorithm and data structure, AI, artificial intelligence, and deep reinforcement running. And right now, I think I'm doing this self-driving car.
And all of them you pass.
Yeah, you have to pass.
For you to do another.
No, it's like the nano degrees, they are pretty hard.
I know.
As you can.
I've checked them out, so it's really quite impressive to have done 5.
So what I'm trying to do.
So what's the secret of passing before we are left here wondering, should I take nano degree?
Secret of passing nano degrees. For me, I do the Audacity ones. So they are really hard, I know, but you know, like you have to keep trying because there is like kind of Audacity community as well. They have like kind of community where you can post a problem and you know people help you solve it. Also, if you submit like some sort of projects in the nano degrees, they provide the feedback for you. You understand? It's like community way of solving problem. It's not like you are going to a lecture and they give you 0 and you are already failed. That approach is, I think it works for me, but for university one, doesn't. really work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So you'd rather take these nano degrees?
Yeah, even.
But what do you think they get
kids-
it right in terms of how they teach, in terms of the curriculum? What do you think they get right? That universities can learn from? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, for nano degrees, I think they focus on, like making you understanding the core concept of things.
Yeah.
And then they make sure they challenge you to the project which are more exciting and
So you
hard
build something
at
up.
the same time.
Yeah.
And from there you have a community to help you out.
Ah, I see. Uh-huh.
But for university it's like inverse.
Yeah?
Yeah,
So-
for university, like they present you some slides. They give you some, like books written by someone and someone.
Yeah.
And later on afterwards, you have to kind of, like pass the exam.
Yeah.
And the exam most likely is like past paper or something like that, which is something which is not innovative, not
Yeah. It's
exciting
not
to
exactly.
work
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
And
so-
it's not also up to date.
yeah, not up to date. Yeah, so it's really challenging for universities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So, in that case, and I think also the engineers who design nano degrees, most of them, they have a background in either lecturers or they have written these books that we learn for programming. So they understand the concepts and how it's changing. And that's why you find most of the books that we read, even from O'Reilly, they are revised. There are a couple of editions. And the reason why they do that is because they understand technology changes very fast. So at least every year you'll find Python has been upgraded, or if there's Python 3 that has come out, there will be books and materials to show you what has changed, why it has changed, with accompanied projects. So do you think lecturers are way underpaid to be motivated enough to do all this?
Yeah, most of them I think they are way underpaid.
Yeah.
And most of them I think they are not really underpaid because like even them they know like they don't have those much skills to share with the students.
Yeah.
So saying underpaid is like somehow like upgrading their skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think the lecturers the motto is like if the university can get the best people to teach.
Yeah.
And pay them enough.
Yeah.
That will be enough for.
So we start with the best people.
Yeah, the best people.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like dragging someone to teach me big data.
Yeah, because they got a first class.
And he's presenting me NumPy from free code point, something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
But if you go to Audacity, someone who is teaching NumPy is the one who created it.
Yeah. But now you see, you have to be realistic. These others cannot teach all universities, right? Practically, most probably they do this at their home country or where they reside, right? Mm-hmm. So generally, it will make sense also if and I don't want to talk about other places, but African universities, and I'm saying this with a lot of love and humility. I have seen lecturers who have written a lot of good research, but they don't follow it up to make it palatable, even in other institutions.
Yeah.
Because even when you study classic example of Kigali and the development that has happened in 22 years, do you know that's a whole book that people can learn and even build better Irembo?